I think the first thing you need to find out is your target market. The second thing is what separates you from everyone else. The third thing is what you alluded to earlier. When you build a brand, you shouldn't even have to think about your brand. It should be what comes out naturally. And that will allow you to be in your natural state of serving whoever it is you want to serve.
Are you looking to improve your sales skills without compromising your values? Welcome to Sales Made Easy, a podcast for business and personal growth. Join Harry Spate, author of Selling with Dignity, your formula for life-changing sales results, as he hosts sales experts and business owners who share their journeys of personal growth and business success without resorting to pushy sales tactics. Now, here's your host, Harry.
What is the good word? Hey, are you struggling with putting yourself out on social media? Are you doing video? Do you feel good about it? Your regular authentic self and all of that jazz? You know, I struggled with video for a long time and I'm still working at getting better. But we've got someone here on the podcast that's joining us, Landen Connor, who knows a thing or two about photography and video. And he's going to tell us all about that and how we might be a little bit better and what we can do for that. So Landen, Connor, welcome to the Sales Made Easy podcast. What's the good word?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, Harry. It's great to be here, looking to add value to anybody that's listening. And how can I help in any way?
Well, you have been a big help to me. So Landen and I met recently at one of our mutual friends, Joe Peachy's events. And Landen was shooting video and taking pictures, and very likable person. And he clearly knows what he's doing. So I wanted to invite him onto the podcast and maybe we could get some insight. So Landen, let's talk about this idea of video and why is video important in the first place for an up and coming business owner to put themselves out there a little bit?
I would say video is it's important, but clarifying video, like a lot of people say, do video, put yourself out there. I would say do the right video with the right message connects viewers and allows them to feel what you may be advertising, selling, and it gives them a visual representation of how they would either feel, what they would experience after doing business with you and experiencing your product.
Yeah, so you're basically saying don't just shoot video for the sake of shooting video.
No, I'll say the same thing with still photography. I'll say the same thing with video. A lot of times we get what I say is incomplete information. So doing video for the sake of doing video, it may look great, but is the message matching what you're putting on video? When you're setting people up for the story, it has to matter. There's a lot of fluff, or is it simplistic and powerful? People are looking for something that they can connect with.
When we think about when we're competing for space on social media, that some are really saying that more content is better. But what I'm hearing then is that we've got to understand what our message is and maybe what our brand is, and then tie it all in together and say, maybe ask the question, is this video promoting what I want people to look at me as far as my brand and my messaging is concerned, or just putting it out there for the sake of putting it out there is not the way to go, what I've learned already. What's your thought on this? So
let's break that down just a little bit, Harry. So I like to deal in real clients. We've done a project together. You were speaking at an event. Your thing is to sell with dignity, correct?
Yeah.
Even though we did video and photos, there's a story behind each photo. There's a story behind each video. Looking at a person's brand, selling with dignity says, okay, I'm going to serve my client. So thinking about that in the back of my mind as we're creating content, there has to be something where people are seeing what it's like to work with Harry, where Harry is doing the one-on-ones and he's serving them in dignity. If I remember correctly, it was a room full of realtors. Lo and behold, I didn't know you spoke Spanish, but you didn't just come across in English. You actually broke it down and tried with Spanish. And it connected with them to let you know, hey, I'm here to serve you. I know Spanish and I have a Spanish background and history. But the coolest thing that people would see in the content that was created, you took time to speak with each and every last client, each and every last attendee after the event. So those one-on-ones to answer those questions of how to sell with dignity. Now you come back and you can repurpose that on email or social media. Hey, Miss Mary had a question of how can you sell a house with dignity? And you can take a person on that journey of what it's like to sell to the potential buyer and take them through the full experiences. Hey, this faucet may be a little leaky, but we could get that taken care of later on. So it's actually capturing everything of what that person's brand is about, and then uniquely creating content so that it can attract who they want to attract.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought all that out. I do what I do without necessarily thinking through it, right? It just becomes natural when I'm around people.
Yeah.
And when I was speaking with you about shooting some video and taking pictures, I remember you saying, well, what is your message? And I'm like, huh? Where I was, because you're obviously I'm looking at pictures and video. You're looking at it as a story.
Yes.
Right? Where does that come from? Is that innate in you, or is that like research where you said maybe you just were like super creative and you look at things a little bit differently than I do? So I'm just curious as to where does that originate from?
It originates actually from, and this will be relatable, Christmas, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's not something you learn, but so I have a history and a background in pharmacy. And I was given a Christmas gift to one of my coworkers, and she said something to me that stood out, and it took me back to when I was a kid. She's like, I don't want you to give me something I need. I want you to give me something I want. And it made a ton of sense of how often do we give people what they need versus what they want at that time. So if it's the first question I always ask whenever we're creating content, who is it that you want to attract? Anybody can take pictures, anybody can do video, but is it the right content? Is it the right video? Is it the right message? All three put together makes a phenomenal product. I started looking at medical videos. If you look in a medical video, it's so perfectly put together that you ignore all the side effects that they mention. It's the same standard. You feel bad, you take our drug, you can dance with your children at their wedding. You can take your kids for walks. You can walk your dog. You can have a spouse. So they have a visual representation along with wording that matches that creates a branded marketing message that's just phenomenal. And lo and behold, look at the industry.
So that's so true, because you're not really paying attention at all to the monstrous side effects that could be out there, because you're right. You're watching older people dance at their kid's wedding. That's so true.
Yep.
Yeah. So how do we apply that then? Like for the everyday person, right? Maybe we're not ready yet to hire your services, but you are very reasonable and you do put out a great product, and I highly recommend you. But maybe someone wants to just kind of get started and put their toes in the water. What should they be? Maybe what are some of the things that they should be considering to help them to get started before they might look to someone like you for some additional guidance?
I think the first thing that's more critical than anything is who's your target audience and what are their clients looking for? Because we come to people for products and we think the product is just going to solve the issue, but we don't look a little bit deeper. And I tell you a company that's really, really great at that, Amazon. Amazon looks at it, once I started diving into what they do, same thing with Apple. They always are customer centric. You look at the brand word for Apple, most people don't know that it's perfection. Once you understand that their brand is perfection, then it's easier to accept that they don't do innovation as much. If I buy an Apple computer, yeah, the price is kind of high, but I know I have this computer for 10, 12 years with no issues. I don't have to go through the problems of it breaking down. When you take it in to be fixed, it's going to fix everything. So it's just like brand new. That makes me feel taken care of as a person. Same thing with Chick-fil-A. Everybody copies it's my pleasure, but really, is it your pleasure? Do you get my order wrong? Do you say please? Do you say thank you? So finding out, I think the first thing you need to find out is your target market. The second thing is what separates you from everyone else. The third thing is what you alluded to earlier. When you build a brand, you shouldn't even have to think about your brand. It should be what comes out naturally out of you. And that will allow you to be in your natural state of serving whoever it is you want to serve.
I so love that. I just, when I hear of people who are, trying to think about what they need to be, it tells me it's like, well, you've got to be yourself, right? It's just, I think this is one of the basics that people forget. Like, if they're looking for perfection in whatever they do,
Yeah.
it's not really needed, right? Because people are looking to see who you really are versus the perfect person that never makes a mistake or whatever. What's your thought on that?
I believe you're accurate. Perfection is not needed, but excellence is. There's a
Okay.
vast difference between the two. Perfection, when you don't do things perfectly, it could stalemate you. I know, because I'm a recovering perfectionist. But excellence, serving a person in excellence, that can be from everything. That's just naturally, like I said, please, thank you, giving that person a product, your turnaround time, making that person feel special by returning their emails. Those things should come naturally out of a business owner or any 9-to-5 business owner. It's something that's special about you that you don't think about. It just comes out naturally. Like, my wife gets on me all the time. It's like, I'll tell anybody, hey, how's your day going? But then again, I look at it like this. What if I'm the only person that asked that person that day, how's their day going? Or if a smile or anything to make their day better. It's just, you may say it's just one person, but that word just, I don't like it because it belittles things. But if that one person can smile and their day can be changed in a split second, it means the world to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about what you just said. That's profound when you use the word just like that. I don't know if I've ever thought about the just word.
Yeah.
So
I recommend any business owner eliminate that from their business. Because if it's just pictures, if it's just video, then you already belittled it in your mind. It's like, I'm just going to put it out there. So when you get the responses or lack thereof, well, you just told me that you didn't care by using that word just.
How about that? Yeah, good insight. So Landon, tell me about your business. What is it that you really do for business owners? Walk me through some of the things that you do for them.
So with the business, attracting clients is hard. We all know that. And attracting the right pond of clients that values your services is even more difficult because we don't know where to look and we don't know where to start. So looking back and asking that question, who is it that we want to attract? And what do we want people to experience when they see our content? That could be from looking at the headshot, because that's the first time they're going to actually meet you, or looking through reviews. Is something that may be causing a disconnect. So it's diving through that to see where is the disconnect, how can we amplify it and expand their brand, and then attract that right pond of clients to us.
So the thought on the headshot that jumps out at me as I look at my own, it's been there for a number of years. I never really gave it any thought. It was just me putting on a tie and a jacket and smiling in front of the camera. Is that typically what most people are doing for a headshot, or are they thinking deeper?
No. So I would flip that back on you, Harry. When
Okay.
you look at people's headshot on a LinkedIn, any social media platform, let's go even deeper. If it was a dating app and you see the headshot up until the upper torso, you're making split decisions psychologically whether or not I'm going to actually like this person, trust this person, or did they just, that's where you use the word, did they just put up anything and hope for somebody to come to their page? So it's making split decisions. Now, how do I tie that to business? If I'm a recruiter and I'm looking for somebody that can benefit my company, 9 times out of 10, they're already doing research on you on social media. Tie that to a poor headshot or even worse, no headshot at all.
Mm.
Let's say that job is worth $150,000. Do you know how many people are losing $150,000 every time when they don't have something that connects with that potential recruiter? A lot of people. Same thing with the business owner. You will never see companies like Apple, companies like Google, Nike put out anything that is subpar because they know people connect visually more than anything else.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm thinking along the lines that there's a lot of apps out there that you can take a selfie, right?
Yeah.
You can take a selfie for a headshot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And maybe it's better than not having a picture, but what you just described here is that if you're using something like LinkedIn
Mhm.
to grow your business,
Yes.
and you think about the dollar potential,
Mhm.
and that first glance when someone looks at you and they say professional or unprofessional, someone that really cares about their business, someone that's going to care about me, or maybe not.
Well,
These are thoughts that are going through people's minds, right?
they're actually asking something even more profound. From the eyes, can I trust you? From the eyes, do you look inviting? From the rest of the face, even down to the smile, is that authentically you? I had a friend of mine, she told me a story I think it was a couple of months ago. They saw a photo of her on a social media handle. When they met this particular person in person, the first words out of their mind, you look just like your photo. It does something, it brings down like the guards. So when you bring down your guards, can I trust this person or do they have a bunch of filters and lines removed and their face looks like plastic surgery? I can't trust you. Does it have invitability? Is it authentically you? Same thing with that's if you go even past the headshot, you go to video. Is this really who you're serving? Or is it made up fluff? Is it stock imagery? I would say for business owners that starting out, stock imagery is okay to start with, but you should try to get away from stock imagery as fast as possible because people know and realize that everyone just doesn't look this perfect. Everything isn't this perfect. So that's what I mean by authenticity in every form and facet of your business.
Yeah, excellent. The thoughts here are they're just really making me think here as far as what we can be doing. So just on the headshot alone, let me just go back to that for a second.
Okay.
We're looking into a camera.
Mhm.
Is there something we should be thinking about looking into the lens of the camera versus thinking about how good am I looking right now? Should we be thinking like kind of putting ourselves into a conversation with somebody and saying, I'm actually looking at you, I'm paying attention to you, and I'm being pleasant. So that kind of puts a smile on our face, something along those lines. Is there guidance in that way, or how do you do that?
To be honest with you, Harry, it takes special, unique individuals to do that. I do this for a living, and looking into a camera and trying to make myself emote is very, very difficult. There's a lot of things that go into it. One of the things that come to mind is what 99% of my clients say. Either I don't feel photogenic, I don't like a camera. It's overcoming those inside feelings that begin the process from the jump. The next thing is how can I make myself emote on camera? If you have the money, I would say invest and do your research into a person that does not just take photos. They actually serve the client and help them overcome their own challenges to experience a transformation where they see themselves in a different light. That's a totally different person that you're doing business with. If somebody had to put up a better photo, the best thing I would say do is find the biggest window in your home. Set up the camera on a tripod or the iPhone on a tripod, put it in cinematic mode so I don't see a whole bunch of everything behind you. And then as you grow, then keep continually upgrade and invest within your business. I didn't say spend, invest.
Yeah, that's great advice. And especially, again, I think we're missing an opportunity, especially on social media,
Mhm.
is to how we're attracting people. I'm definitely going to reflect on this conversation because of what you said is the message, is the video putting out the message I wanted to,
Mhm.
is the way I'm appearing, telling people who I really am, or am I looking for, something that I'm not, right? There's always the comparison. And I think
Yeah.
people in general, we compare ourselves to people who are typically, light years. I mean, they might be down the road further than we are. And we say, well, I'm not good like them.
Yeah.
So then we kind of give up sometimes, or, we're pretending to be someone we're not. And
Mhm.
so all of that is sending a message too, isn't it?
Yes. It can go down to as small as your business card. Most people order business cards for the quantity. I would say take the extra time and get quality. Meaning, if I can get 1,000 business cards for $20, yeah, that's fine. But when you go to like a networking event, you know where most of these business cards came from. And when you get a really, really good one, do you normally throw it away?
No.
No.
Yeah.
So it's how when I'm teaching personal brand, it's how people experience your brand every time they come in contact with it. Whether it's the email, if you have a Gmail account, it's hard to get top-notch clients in top corporations because they just don't take you seriously. The second thing, you have a business card. If it's not top tier, most of the time people are going to use it to open bathroom doors. That is what it is. But if you got a really good one, it's like, I don't think I should get rid of this one. And I
Right.
remember this guy. So the thing I would say to business owners, when you're considering your brand, consider what it is your reputation, but it's more than your reputation. It's how you adapt that reputation within your business. And then you sprinkle a little bit of what you stand for as a person to complete your brand. And that's how you make people remember you. In a room full of people, that's the critical thing you have to ask yourself. How can I make this person notice me and remember me?
Yeah. Well, you just again touched on a number of topics, but if you think about the money it requires. I just got an email today from someone who wanted to work with me, complete stranger, of course.
Mhm.
And I don't know how they got my email, but I looked at who sent it, and their email ends at gmail.com. So immediately I'm saying, if you can't afford $12 a month or $20 a month, right, to have your own domain, then you're probably not going to be someone I'm going to trust with any kind of investment, right? That's a
Correct.
minimal thing, is spend whatever, $15, $20 a month and have your own domain. That would be one thing. I love what you said about the business cards. I remember being at an event and a relatively new business owner gave me a card I couldn't read. And he apologized and he said, I said, I can't see the fonts. And he says, yeah, those aren't very good. Yeah. And it was a really cute card. I mean, it was cute, but you couldn't read it. So this is sort of like having a great message, but speaking the wrong language, right? It's just,
I love
no
that.
matter how great the message is, if you're not speaking the same language as the people in the room, sort of like in what we were talking about earlier, it's like, if everyone speaks Spanish and I got this great message in English, no one's going to walk away with it. So that's true on the business card. And I just love what you said. It's like, it's not $1 million. Just spend the money and get fewer, because when you hand out business cards, you should only be handing out a couple at a meeting.
Correct.
And people buy, well, I can get 1,000 for $49.99. I might as well get 1,000, and they're all crooked. They've got rough edges. Maybe there's a blurry font. I mean, it's just, that's not a good reflection on your business. So you saved a couple of bucks, but get 100 for $49 and use them over the course of 3 months or
Yeah.
whatever the number is. And again, you're going to have more opportunities by looking like a professional than someone who's just casually handing out cards that turn into bathroom doorknob holders or something. Am I right? Am I getting this?
You're 1,000% accurate. It's just like you said with the Gmail, and that's a part of the brand. He or she sent you an email with Gmail. You automatically associated that, and you didn't even. It just happens innately. If you can invest, I think, what is the domain name? $12 a year, so that's $1 a month.
Yeah.
If you can't invest $12 a year for a special domain name, how is it that you can bring me leads?
Yeah, it's just you're not managing money well, is my first thought. It's like,
Yeah.
you don't have money to spend this little amount, then I'm not investing in you.
And you may be really, really great at
Yeah.
your thing, but
Yeah.
you took away the opportunity. It's like I always say I always give this analogy. Would you date someone without looking at him? Would you buy a car without viewing it? 100%. No.
No.
So that's how the decisions are being made constantly, every day.
Yeah. And it's that first impression
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times. And
Mhm.
it's funny, I'll look on LinkedIn
Mhm.
and I'll see a pictureless profile.
Yeah.
That's one. I'll see someone who did a selfie where they're all blurry or it's dark
Mm-hmm.
and you can't really see their face. And that's sending a message.
Yeah.
That's telling me basically you don't care that much about your own self.
Yeah.
So chances of us doing, you gotta have some self-care
Yeah.
in life, right? And this is great stuff. What else would you suggest? That you said something about the stock video.
So stock video.
Yeah,
Yes.
talk to me about what that really means.
Stock imagery, stock media, I would say,
Okay.
especially photo, can be really, really damaging to a business. If I come to your website and I see stock, and for your particular city, the question is, are you a real person that comes up? Who am I meeting? This scenario literally just happened to me a month ago.
Okay.
You're on LinkedIn like I'm on LinkedIn, and you get those solicitation emails from salespeople that's always be closing people.
Mm-hmm.
And I took what I would say are what most people would call 2 bad calls. I called them 2 learning calls. One of those learning calls was a guy who kept sending me the same message, the message that this long drawn out message they send you. And then they follow up with a message. I normally don't do this. Yes, you do. And so it's the next message. And then I finally responded, hey, when can we set up a meeting? They respond. We set up the meeting. Then three different people from that original person that sent the message come on a call. In my mind, I'm like, am I being catfished? I followed all the signs, the website, all stock imagery. Nope, no photos, no nothing of the people I'm doing business with. One of the people that's on the call, he has no image of himself. And it's just sales, all about them, all about them. At the end of that call, I'm like, what did I learn from this? What most business owners would say, I just wasted 15 minutes of my life because there was nothing in it. You didn't even care about who I was as a person. That's what I mean by the red flags. And that's how you can offset a person. It's every interaction. You really have to be conscious about how you want people to experience you.
Wow. Yeah, and that is so true. So the stock images can be a clue as to what's behind the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I was just actually, all right, so I'm going to throw this one out there. I was thinking of putting up, I have this video that someone created with my voice, but the video is, so I have my voice in the background as a voiceover for a video about serving. And selling is serving. Is that an okay idea, is to have my voice, or is that kind of using stock imagery?
That's a little different. That's would it throw me off to hammer home a message? No, because that's your voice. And the message you created, I know it's authentically, I can suspect it's authentically from you.
Yeah. Okay.
But that I would believe that's created by you. If I'm experiencing you and you're giving me off the same vibes, then that's something totally different. But I do believe you have to work a lot harder when those visuals, the content that you produce, don't connect. That's when you have to have the 6, 7, 16 different touch points. A lot of times within my business, I really only have to touch a person 1 or 2 times and let them experience the transformations that they walk in a different path. And that's how you make people remember you.
Mm. Yeah. And that was true with us. It's like a immediate, saw the value that you're providing, sincerity. Yeah. It's good stuff. So Landen,
Yes.
what would you say as far as the way you serve businesses? Who are you looking to help? What types of people would be a good referral for your business?
I would say the business owner that really wants to make an impact within his or her community, event planners, coaches, trainers that want to take their business to the next level, where they want to separate from the pack and stand out from everybody else. I know that sounds cliche, but they really, really want to stand out from the pack and just become a pillar of hope and success for the clients that they serve.
And it's beautiful. Do you work just in the Orlando area, or where do you go for that as you chuckle?
I'm chuckling because I literally, I know this is audio, I don't mind video, but right now I would not put my face on video because I'm not shaving and I literally just got back from 2.5 weeks of 3 events in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I do travel and help business owners create content that's specific only to their brand, where it can't be replicated or duplicated. And that was phenomenal. One girl told me I captured transformations in real life. I was like, that's a great line.
Yes, you are capturing transformations in real life. Maybe that will be showing up on your website. So where can people find more of Landen Conner?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Landen Conner, LandenConner. My website, www.impact-branding.com, or always the direct contact phone number, 504-905-2249.
It's great stuff, Landen. Super helpful today. I love the insight. I'm going to start applying more of this stuff and think through about my message, my brand, from the business cards I hand out to the posts that I put out, and, with your help, some of the photos that I use. So great stuff. Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate you, and keep doing the great work that you're doing.
Thank you, Harry. It was super awesome being here. Thank you again.
Okay, my friend.
Thank you for listening to Sales Made Easy. If you found value in our conversations, please subscribe and leave a review. Our goal is to provide practical strategies for growing your business while staying true to your values. Remember, success in sales is about serving your clients. Serve first, and the selling will follow. We'll be back soon with more insights and inspiration. Until then, keep serving and providing value to others. Good things will happen.